going, everybody? My name's Tyler. Welcome to my new channel, Left Turns Only. We're going to be talking NASCAR. We're going to be looking back at NASCAR's trip to Florida, and we're going to be looking ahead at their trip out west to the desert of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And let's get started. Let's go ahead and let's take a look back at our season opener, Daytona 500. So, the first two big news items coming out of the Daytona 500 is we got a first-time winner in Michael McDowell. It was his first win in 358 starts, so awesome to see. It was a long day. It was a long day for us fans, and I can't imagine what it was like, being there in the Florida rain and being on a crew or, being an actual driver with that. I'm sure it has to be absolutely exhausting because it was exhausting as a fan just waiting around. But Michael McDowell picking up his first wins. It's awesome to see, and, pretty much the fan base as a whole was pretty happy about that. He seemed just absolutely overjoyed like, you expect anybody to be, but it looked awesome to see him pick up his first win. The other big thing out of that is Denny Hamlin didn't win. I mean, he's just been not unstoppable, but he's just had some kind of weird magic at Daytona lately where he's just absolutely been dominant. Not to say he's not been dominant on most tracks, actually. I mean, if you look at his season last year, the neck-and-neck battle between him and Harvick in the points race for most of the regular season and even into most of the playoffs was incredibly interesting. And when it didn't come down to the two of them, I think a lot of people were shocked. I couldn't believe that it wasn't down to Harvick and Denny Hamlin in the final race last year. But Denny Hamlin didn't win. I'm shocked. A lot of people are shocked. And I'm sure Denny Hamlin himself is shocked. So now let's go on to the ratings. Ratings set a record low for a Daytona 500 ever at 4.83 million viewers. A lot of people would say that's concerning, but still, most shows would be absolutely doing anything to pull in that kind of rating now. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a concern because I think, honestly, the way that, the way we consume media has changed. A lot of people, aren't watching it on traditional broadcast cable, so they're not getting the Nielsen ratings on that. So, they may be watching it on something like YouTube TV or Hulu Live, or they may, I just have some other source to watch it to where it's not factored in the ratings. So, I mean, still, 4.83 million people is a lot of people to watch any kind of sporting event. I know it's a record low, but I think this year it's not that concerning. The other thing that I think is not that concerning this year, with the ratings at least, is because of the rain delay. 6 hours, people aren't going to keep it on there for the majority of that 6-hour delay. They showed the documentary about the making of Days of Thunder during the rain delay, which is something that I'd watched in the lead up to the Daytona 500. So that was cool, and if you haven't seen it before, it was a great chance to check it out. Big shout out to Rick Hendrick for just being completely instrumental in that. They did that, and with the rain delay, it's kind of like you're texting your friends back and forth. It's like, hey, are they racing again? I don't know. Let me check back in. No, they're still not racing yet. So a lot of people are flipping the channel then, and I think a lot of people just completely tuned out when the rain delay happened because they thought, well, it's probably not going to air till tomorrow. They're not going to finish it till tomorrow. So they just tuned out and went to bed because, it finished super, super late for a NASCAR race. So, but they got to finish it, and we got a really, a good finish. We got to see Michael McDowell pick up that win. Every 10 years, we get a first-time winner. We had Michael Waltrip in 2001. We had Trevor Bayne in 2011, and now we've got Michael McDowell. 10 years down the road, are we going to have another first-time winner? Who knows? It's interesting to see, though. What are the odds that it's happened 3 times in a row every 10 years? So, super cool, though. And we can't talk about Michael McDowell picking up the win without talking about what facilitated him to pick up that win. Honestly, seeing Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski take each other out brought so much happiness and joy to me, and I'm sure it brought happiness and joy to a lot of other NASCAR fans that just absolutely cannot stand them. So I couldn't have been happier with the result. It's a win-win for me and a win-win for a lot of people that are not big fans of them because they see two drivers they can't stand take each other out battling for the win, and you get to see a really, what's seeming like awesome person pick up a first-time win. Can't beat it. Absolutely love it. Well, now let's move on to the Daytona Road Course. As you can probably tell by the channel name Left Turns Only, not the biggest fan of road courses. The only one I really enjoy watching is the Charlotte Roval, and I did not enjoy the Clash race at the Daytona Road Course. I'm just not a fan of it at all. I think it is just, it's awkward to watch. But like I said, I think obviously Watkins Glen is like the road course. That's like the classic road course, the one that everyone thinks of. But I think the Charlotte Roval is going to take that opinion over in people's minds here in a few years. I really love it. And also the fact, I mean, Chase Elliott keeps winning the thing. Like, people are going to start flocking to that race. And speaking of Chase Elliott, he was absolutely dominant for most of the race. And Chase Elliott, as we've seen before, he's picked up the wins on the road courses consistently. Really good road course driver. Had his day ruined by Denny Hamlin. Got into a little bit of conflict with Denny Hamlin, and just kind of ruined his day. And I'm sure a lot of fans were not happy about that one. Another complaint I have about the Daytona road course: the infield grass keeps these cars disgusting, makes them handle awful. You look at these cars and they're covered in mud and dirt and grass, and it makes for just a really not fun watching experience. And it feels just so slow and nasty and not in a good way. Pretty much the opposite of how the Bristol Dirt Race is going to feel here in a few weeks. The last time I've been this excited for a race, I couldn't even tell you. Because I think we're going to see a lot of drivers that don't really have much experience driving on dirt go and drive on dirt at the highest level and not be in their element. So we'll see what happens with that. We did have a fun battle at the end between Bell and Logano. We'll say that. Did enjoy watching that, and kind of watching them really battle it out. Watching Logano try to hold him off, but then watching Bell get the win right there at the end. It's really cool to see. And we've had 2 first-time winners in a row. It's awesome. What a better way to kick off the season. I know a lot of people, I guess, would want a veteran to win, and obviously you want your favorite driver to win. But still, seeing someone pick up a win for the first time, always really cool to see. And having it start back-to-back, pretty cool. Like, it's got me definitely intrigued for this NASCAR season. All right, let's move on to Homestead. I know we're covering a lot of ground here. Still, it's always going to be weird to me that Homestead isn't the last race now. Homestead went from being arguably the most important race of the entire season to just another mile-and-a-half track. And mile-and-a-half tracks are really hit and miss. Homestead, definitely one of the more entertaining mile-and-a-half tracks pretty consistently. And I don't know if it's still in my head like, oh, this is a big important track. It's a big important race because it was the last race for so long. And that's why it still feels important. But I don't know, I felt really organically, kind of entertained by it. Because a lot of mile-and-a-half races can get super boring really quick. William Byron was absolutely dominant the entire day. He led 102 of 267 laps. So the fact that he ended up winning, not a huge surprise there, I guess, once the race actually got going and got started. But he was pretty dominant, and it was only his second win ever. So where are the veterans at? We're 3 races in, and we've not seen a win by, Logano, Keselowski, Harvick, Hamlin, Truex, any of those guys, so it's kind of weird. So looking ahead to Las Vegas, I would say your odds-on favorites are Harvick, Logano, Keselowski. Let's look at the past races they've won. Harvick won in 2018 and 2015. Logano won 2020, 2019. Keselowski has been pretty dominant there, winning 2014, 2016, and 2018. If he wins this one, he ties Jimmy Johnson to be the all-time winner at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I think there's a lot of fire in both Logano and Keselowski right now, and I think that's what's going to be the extra little push they need to get this win, their first win of the season, because, these guys have just been running stupid good, so I would not be surprised if Logano or Keselowski pick up this win, but we'll see. Harvick's also on the pole, so he's one of these guys, they call him the closer, but he's also one of these guys starting from the pole. Does a pretty good job at holding on to some lead position if he's got it. I have full faith in Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers to hold on to that pole position for a good portion of the race unless something drastically awful happens. So we'll see, but those are my predictions for Las Vegas. If I had to pick one, though, one I think is going to pull it off, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski. I think Brad Keselowski can do it. I think he's got a proven track record of success here, and would not be surprised if he walked away with the trophy tomorrow on Sunday. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Brad Keselowski being my prediction for who's going to win. There are also 2 drivers I'm going to say you should watch for sure. Matty D has finished second place here the last 2 races. Would love to see Matty D get his first win, and the fan base in general, we love this guy. I feel like for the most part, NASCAR fans absolutely love the guy and would want to see him get his first win. I think it would just be incredible. Like, the fan base would just explode. Like, social media and Twitter would blow up with excitement because of it. So would love to see that. And I think he's a guy to watch. I mean, with those 2 second place finishes the last 2 races, can he finally get that first win? Can he finally pull it off? He's going to do it. I just don't know when he's going to do it. And it's almost like you're always like so close but so far away, just watching him try to get that win. But when he gets it, I hope the stadium is packed. I hope that there are a ton of fans there that can cheer him on, because wherever he's at is going to go absolutely nuts. And also, as always, don't count out Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has proved the past couple years that he is an absolute monster. He can show up, super speedway, short tracks, mile-and-a-half tracks. He can do it all. So don't ever count him out. So I could almost put that disclaimer in every week. Don't count Denny Hamlin out unless something awful happens. But those are your 2 to watch. Matty D, Denny Hamlin. I'm picking Brad Keselowski for the win. And let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching Left Turns Only. And we'll see how Las Vegas goes. We'll see you next week.